I've seen all the comments, so I'm going to teach you all how to rebuild in college football 25 today. Believe it or not, it's actually difficult, so we're just going to go through an entire season. I'm going to break down everything that I've done in my previous videos to make me have success. And even though there's no recruiting difficulty, I'll still put the skill level on Heisman, and our coach X speed will be on normal. Now, I want to show you all with a school that's not good at all, so we're going to go down to the 1-star schools. We're just going to go through here, pick somebody at random. And you know what? Just for the sake of this video, I'm going to use the USF Bulls since I'm down here in Tampa. I'll be doing this as a head coach, but I'm not going to take over like I have in the rebuilds I've already posted on my channel. I'm creating a brand new head coach at level 1. And I'm not even going to go with the recruiter skill path. I want to show that you all can do this without any points in those trees. USF's not going to be a great spot for me to start out at, and I'm not going to cut much in this video after I've gotten through that intro, just because I want you all to get a feel for every last thing that I do. There's a lot of things that get cut out. I lose recruiting battles. I want the whole process to be on here. The recruiting skill tree is not even open on my end. And with our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, we might have a couple boosts in here, but nothing crazy at all. That leaves us with 500 recruiting hours in this first period. It'll probably drop down to 400 after we get through the week. We have 35 targets that we can put on our board. And of course, there are going to be team needs at almost every position. Now, I don't like how they showcase it this way because we don't really need a quarterback if we have 4 total. But we do need something like wide receiver if there's 5 of them. So any position that you have 2 or 3 more of, you're going to want to take a note of. So wide receiver is one of them, right guard and right tackle. Those are the big needs that we have to fill on offense. And then when we go over to defense, we're going to see we need a lot of linebackers. We could always use some other stuff as well. Defensive tackles, another big need. But these ones that have one like safety, we're going to still get players at those positions, but it's not our priority. Our main priorities for USF right now are linebackers, defensive tackles, wide receivers, and some linemen. We can move around the positions, so it doesn't really matter what position those are at. And all of it starts here at the prospect list. For a large majority of the small schools, you might have some 3 stars on here. You might not even have any 3 stars, so that's why I'm not going to add many players from these categories onto our board. You could even see that we did have a chance at getting a 4-star because of his deal breaker, proximity to home. He's probably from the Tampa area. Lake Mary's very close to me. So we can add a 4-star to our board as well. But I have a better strategy for finding 4 stars for smaller schools that you might be able to land. It all starts by going over to search, taking off this top 10, and then we're going to search by the state that our college is in. So USF in Tampa, it's in Florida. That's why we're going to go over here. I'm already scrolling past it. Put Florida on our board, and then we're also going to sort, instead of by recommended, by 4-star prospects. This gives us a chance to see all the players in our state that might want to come here. So we can look in the bottom right panel. Deal breaker, proximity to home. We can meet that. We might as well have that 4-star on our board. There's certain needs we should go after, but anybody that has a proximity to home deal breaker or a playing time deal breaker, you have a good chance at getting as a smaller school. If it's something like championship contender, you can just pass up on him. But a lot of these guys we could actually land, so I'm just going to make sure our board is full of 4 stars right off the jump. And this isn't a guarantee that we're going to get any of them, but it's a lot easier to get 3 stars later on, so that's why I'm not prioritizing them now. As you can see, we have 500 recruiting hours to spend, 26 targets, and I could have done the same thing for 3-star talent. I want to do it for 4 stars just in the point in the video to kind of show, even when you're a tiny school, you can get a lot of good guys. You're going to have to battle for schools. I'm probably going to lose like 10 battles at least in this video. I mean, if you see Florida, Miami beating me out, I don't stand a chance. But that's why you also want to supplement it with 3 stars in there too. And the main recruiting period that will have a big impact on your class doesn't happen until about week 5, week 10, and then the transfer portal, 4 weeks in the transfer portal. So for now, we can go through, we can scout players. We can also do it a little bit quicker for certain positions because we have some of our coordinators giving us a boost in those categories, which is nice. And now I can talk about bust. If you get a red gem like that, it means the player's busted. So, wow, pause. Anyway, if he's a 3-star, that kind of just takes it down like 1 tier. So if you have a 3-star player that busts, then he becomes a 2-star talent. If you have a 4-star player that's a gem, which is the green one, then he goes up about a star in level. So instead of being a 4-star talent, he's pretty much like a 5-star talent. You get a 5-star gem, you got like a 6-star player. That guy's going to be a 79, 80 overall the second he steps on campus. The 3 stars come in about a 65. That's why I'm not highly prioritizing them, but 3 stars aren't bad to have because they can develop 3-4 years in and then start for your program. But a 3-star bust, we would remove from our board instantly. I'm not going to want to put points on him. And then another thing that I like to do outside of scouting, because this isn't the end-all be-all. I mean, this doesn't guarantee anybody's going to be good. Just kind of tells us who not to go after. Is I like to make sure that with the limited recruiting hours, everybody's offered a scholarship. So no matter who I'm going after on this board in the next 5 weeks, they have a scholarship on them already. It cost 5 points. This period, you get more points than any other period because the hours are a little bit weighted better here. So all I'm going to do is offer a scholarship to every single player before we continue scouting. And even the 4-stars, I'm not going to worry about going in on scouting because there's a good chance we'll get 1 or 2 of them, and that's it. The big periods in recruiting are still going to come later in the year. So I've had comments where they're like, hey, it's week 7. I haven't signed a single person. That's why I'm filming this video. That's why I'm going to show every last part of this. Because I've seen a lot of you all say, hey, I can't recruit. But we're going to do that today. We're going to go through the entire process. I don't need to add any more prospects. I just need to make sure everybody has a scholarship, which is going to take us down to about 200 hours. And then we'll finish scouting at least the 3-stars and then spend the rest of our points wisely. It is nice whenever you get a gym like this. I kind of want to move those to the top of my board because you know that he's going to be a solid player, especially for his talent. 3-star up to 4. That's what you want to see. Now, there is still some clicking here that takes a while, especially if you have to hit it 5 times. I'm very lucky that we had a boost on one of our coordinators, so we can scout more people. But I'm hoping there's a way to like hold down this button so you don't have to spam it every time. We'll see if that is a thing going forward. And now we're just going to be out of hours. That's it. So all we can do, advance to the next week. I'm excited to take you all through this process with USF. I think I'm assigned, my guess is going to be top 40, which is very good if you're a smaller school. You can build off a top 40. I won a championship with Sam Houston in 4 years doing top 40s. So I think I even had like 70 something in the second year, but we had some 4-stars and really good 3-star gyms. I wouldn't take the recruiting class rankings too seriously. You're not going to sign these number 1 classes like you could in year 1 in NCAA Football 14. It is still much harder here. But now we can take a look at that influence screen right here. I'm number 1 for JT Herndon, so I feel very confident in going after him. The only action I'm adding is send the house. Now you can see on that right side, above all of his interests, there are a certain amount of hours a player has. If I had better coordinators or my own skill tree, we could get up to 70 hours on him, maybe 80. It might even go up to 90. I've seen some crazy boost that you can get, but that would allow us to put more on him. We're not worried about that. We're a small school right now. So all I'm going to do is see these players that we are gaining on and no other schools are. I don't want to compete with UCF and Florida. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. So Artist Sneed, we'll go after him. We'll send the house. That's the only one you want to do. You don't want to do the other ones unless you just have a couple extra points laying around. But like UCF, do I want to get in a battle for a quarterback? We don't desperately need one. I don't want to get in a battle with Florida State. But this guy, George Pitts, you'll see that all these other schools aren't gaining interest. It's just us. So those are the types of players that you want to make sure you're going after. We could compete with FAU for this guy, but it's not a necessity, so I'm not going to do it off the jump. This is just something you want to feel for. I mean, I have 400 total hours, so there's only 8 players I can do this on. It's kind of hard to build a big class. These 4-stars going to probably all be picked up by other schools, but the ones that aren't, like Yazy, other colleges might step into the battle later on, but we're going to give it our best shot. Because if USF can bring in 15 players and all of them are good, we don't need a class of 35. We just need talent, and I'm just going to keep removing all these guys that other players are going to be, or other schools are going after. I'm not seeing many. There we go. Ryan Dweller. You see no other schools pursuing him. This is going to change, but that's kind of my process for this first week. I'd say I could get through an entire season of recruiting in about an hour and a half. We'll see with this video. But I also am explaining every process instead of like quickly doing it. So it might take me a little bit longer, but you all are going to see the entire breakdown of how I go through the whole thing. And yeah, this is the last player that we have that's a 4-star. No one else is going after him. This is kind of similar to NCAA Football 14, where you want to go after the players that are being overlooked. I'm not even going to waste my hours because hours are precious on this game. And I don't want to get into battles for some of these other guys. We have 50 left. which does give us an opportunity to see if we could beat out another school. We might as well do it for this wide receiver. FAU is probably the same caliber as USF, so we're going to give that our best shot as well. And let's just go ahead and get into week 2, or week 1. That was week 0. You don't really do anything else in recruiting besides send the house until you get into their top 5. Normally, I don't change anything on these players till about week 3. You're not going to reach that top 5 until the week 3 threshold for a lot of guys. And even like for JT Herndon, we're in his top 5 already because we started off with interest. We're not going to know his main 3 interests to where we could swap out this send the house for the hard sell. So we're not going to worry about that for the time being. We're just going to leave this on. About week 3, we'll adjust. But you just got to keep an eye on this overview tab. Look, we are gaining so much more influence than these other schools. I can pretty much say, for at least the time being, we have those 2 locked in. UCF, though, on the other hand, for this quarterback, they're filling up the whole bar. We're not going to get him. Florida State, free safety, filling up the whole bar. We're not going to get him. But we have jumped ahead on this wide receiver, this strong safety. And then it's the 4 stars. You see how all those other big colleges are just dropping down while we gain? That's because we are the only school putting points on them. This could change. Georgia could come into the battle 3 weeks from now and decide, hey, I want this guy, and they're going to catch up very quick. But at least for now, we have a chance at getting a 4-star middle linebacker, 58th in the country. We're going to take that shot. That's true for all 3 of these guys, and I think you all can kind of see how I'm going to build out this board and get more prospects coming in the future. At least for now, we're spending all 400 of our hours. There's no reason for me to change anything about it. It's kind of set and forget until you get into that top 5 period. You're going to see it pop up stuff like top 8 right here. Ignore it. Doesn't matter. All you care about is the top 5. We have players that want to transfer out too. We're not worried about actually rebuilding USF in this. I'm just focused on building a good class. All right. Still gaining influence on all of those 4. And then the 4 stars we're still gaining influence on as well. That bar up there, the yellow bar, by the way, where it says like top 8, top 5, top 3, the second it reaches the end is when the player commits. And if it reaches the end at the same time as another school, then it goes to what school has the higher prestige. That's kind of how the player decides where they want to go, maybe what school's the better fit. So you want to make sure that you beat schools to that bar by a lot, which is where visits can come into play as well. And the longer that you have send the house on without these pitches, it's going to be very hard to gain a lot of points. We want to unlock all 3 interests, though, first. So we just have to wait, be patient. That's what I was saying. You're going to advance to basically week 3 before you do anything else. It's just going to be send in the house. And man, we have top 5s for about everybody now. I'm really hoping those 4 stars are going to reach the top 5 soon. Looks like we're getting a player of the week as well. That's pretty cool. But if we don't get those 4 stars into the top 5 before other programs start going after them, it's going to be hard to seal it. But as for now, we're just taking that lead, and then next week, we're going to be fine. Their interests are starting to unlock as well, which is nice. We have all 3 of Pat Mama's. What a name. All 3 of Pat Mama, the wide receiver we need, interest. So we're going to take off, send the house, and then you're going to go into hard sell, go all the way down here to where's the 3? I have a decent idea where all of them are at. You're going to make sure that all 3 of your things line up with their interest, and then you're going to pitch that. What I also like to do is throw in a DM the player. I don't think I'm going to do it on this because we have limited hours and we need to start scheduling visits too. But we're going to save those 10 points at least for now. There's also all 3 interest for George Pitts. So we'll take off send the house, go down, hard sell, and then it's the exact same pitch. A lot of these guys are going to have the same pitch because we looked for what their main interest was. Now, we could take a guess right here. I would assume that Rico would prefer playing time. So we might as well, even though it's not all 3 of them are unlocked, we're just going to find the one that lines up with playing time, proximity to home, and academic prestige, and then we're going to pitch him on it. But there's not any. So maybe we aren't going to deal with that. Instead, campus lifestyle is a pitch, which means that's probably his 3rd interest instead of playing time. Unless I'm missing something here. But I don't think I am. Which means, yeah, his main pitch right now is going to be this. We know that that's going to be his 3rd interest because there's 20 strategies you can do. And playing time is not going to be in there. If I'm wrong on that, then I'm learning recruiting as we do this. But either way, the pitch is still going to be pretty effective, even if it's not all three of them. It's just going to hurt it a little bit if it's not. There's one question mark on this. So all we have to do for one question mark is figure out this right here, campus personality. Pitch that to artist's need. The last player, JT Herndon, we've taken a huge leap forward on him. We're going to land him all day, hard sell him, make sure we find it, which this does take a little bit. This is going to be a lengthy process. But I feel like I'm missing them. Every so often they don't perfectly line up. And this might, no, there it is. I haven't figured out if you can have them not line up or not. All right. So now we have all these players on the hard sell. Those are what you want to go for. You want to go from down here on the send the house to once you get into their top 5, hard selling them and unlock the 3 interest. I hope that was pretty clear. Feel like I did a decent job explaining it. And then if you hit L2 and start scrolling, you're going to be able to see all these tabs, players ready for a visit. Now, we're going to land JT no matter what. We're going to put somebody on a visit that might have a little bit of an issue with. And I think that player could be Pat Mama. We need wide receivers, a lot of them. We'll schedule him for week 6 on a bye because we're not going to lose anything in week 6. We could do Miami. I don't think it would cause us a big loss. That might be sooner. So you know what? I'll switch it up. What I have learned is you want to get the visits out of the way as soon as possible. Because when they commit when that bar fills up, you don't want to schedule them for a week 13 visit or they're never going to make it to campus to visit your school. They're going to be committed far before then. We have 10 hours left in the week. Let's just throw those onto JT. Maybe we'll get them to commit sooner and we can spend those hours other places. But I think you all can see the process that goes in. Next week, we finish out all the top 5s. And hopefully, we can start to bring in some 4-stars. I don't see anyone pursuing them yet, which is a good thing. We're also gaining levels. Even on the normal thing, with us not winning many games, we're gaining levels fast. So I could put those into recruiting to help me out. But I want no help. I want to be on the base thing just to kind of test myself, see what we can pull off. So we don't have all of Alex Johnson's interest unlocked yet. That is a bit of a problem. It does take a little longer to unlock all the interest on 4 and 5 stars. Send the house is not going to be as effective. And what I might do, just for this one video, is start to test out another feature. We don't need any cornerbacks on this team. So what we might want to do is sway, unless Alex Johnson still is not in the top 5. Okay. We'll test out sway on this guy. I'm also going to schedule him for a visit during that bye week just to make sure we can still land him because it'd be really nice to get a 4-star linebacker. But this sway is going to add that ideal pitch in if you need to get a 3rd pitch for somebody. So right now, we want to just make sure that we get one more interest out of him. And we're going to take one that has all 3 of those gray spots, or at least 2 gray spots, and kind of try to sway him in that way. So preferably academic prestige like this. We're going to sway it. By next week, we're going to be able to give him a full hard sell. That's how I'm going to run it with this guy. We have 5 hours left. Let's just throw it on there. Advance the week again. It's a very quick recruiting process. Doesn't take that long once you get into the rhythm of it. I'm also only going after 8 players. And there's our first commit, JT Herndon. I told you all we were going to get him from the jump. Not very impressive. We're starting to reach top 3s with some of these guys, though, and even the 4-star. So, that's what you want to see at least. Let's go ahead back into recruiting. We're going to have 90 hours available to us. You can see the FIU starting to pursue artist's need. That's why it's important to always keep an eye on this overview tab to see what schools are jumping into the battle. Because now I know, at least for artists, if they're pursuing him like that, we're going to make sure we're DMing him every week and we're going to get him on a visit for this bye. Just to lock in the fact that we want him at our school. I'm not going to take any risks of us losing players. Even if he plays as an elusive back, I'm sure we could use a halfback on this team. I'll worry more about positions when we have more hours available. But at least for now, we don't. Alex Johnson, we still can't go off of send the house on. Does worry me a little bit. You don't gain much influence if you're stuck on send the house. It's given a chance for other schools to swoop in. Same here. We don't have all 3 of them unlocked, but I might just take the risk. Let me see how the sway worked for him. Yep, we have 4 things unlocked now on that right side. So we know for a guaranteed fact that we're going to have a hard sell right here. And let's go ahead and do the hard sell that benefits us best. If there's 4 interest, I don't want to do coach prestige. Mine's a D+. That's not going to impress him. You want to find the best combo. Normally, it's just going to be 3. This was a unique scenario. And then I'm going to probably start using this sway a little bit more. That really helped us out, actually. But we want to sway this kid on conference prestige and playing time, because those are high grades for us. So if we could convince him to start wanting to come to our school for conference prestige and playing time, just 1 of the 2 of those, that'd be a major plus. And I guess we're going to have to settle for, can there be a playing time, please? I'm only seeing like a couple options. We'll go with this one. We'll sway him. We're also going to DM him, put as many points as possible, schedule a visit, get that out of the way. And we'll do proximity to home. I want to get the 4 stars on visits. If the 4 stars aren't visiting, we're probably not going to land them. After we advance the next week, that'll apply. Okay, as you can see, FIU is going after Artist Need. They've offered him a scholarship. We knew that this one might come down to the wire. That's why we put him on a visit. And we are going to have Byron Brown winning Player of the Week. We haven't gotten any more commits yet, but we're getting very close on a couple of them. So that's at least very promising. We know that we're going to get a lot of hours available the week after this one. And then for these guys, we just need to get them off of the send the house. It's still looking very bad for Alex Johnson. Probably should have swayed him. And we couldn't sway on playing time, but we have unlocked the 3 interest for Ryan Dweller. So we're going to go ahead, remove these 3 things, and then put a hard sell on him. I'm starting to lose my voice a bit from how much I was talking, but I didn't want to cut much out of this. I wanted you all to see as much as possible, so I might not explain as many things going forward. We have 5 interest on this 4-star. That is absolutely crazy. And I think we just need to make sure everyone's scheduled for a visit if it's available. That's going to go for Alex Johnson for sure. It's not going to hurt us if we lose this because it was only 1 loss. And if that sway doesn't guarantee that an interest becomes available, maybe it's smarter to just leave send the house on so you don't have to mess with it. We're ready to advance another week unless I left some recruiting hours out there on the board, and I might have, honestly. 35 of them? That's a lot. Okay, it is time for the most exciting part of where recruiting really gets good. You're midway through the year. You got some hours that are going to start becoming available. You're going to make your first signings, but you still have a lot of talent that you want. This is when, at least I'm going to start out in the state just because it's easier. You can do this just for states in the area too. You're pitching off of playing time and proximity to home. So it doesn't have to be in your state. We're first on the board for him, of course, that 4-star. But we're going to sort by other 4 stars in Florida and see who else we can go after. This guy is open. We're going to just add him on to our board. We don't need other corners, but we needed safeties. We could move him to safety. You're going to see a lot of deal breakers, though. The ones you don't have deal breakers for, like this strong safety, add him on. We could play him at linebacker. This corner, add him on. This tackle, add him on. That's just the process of finding players that aren't being recruited is hard. We needed linebackers and wide receivers. They're on there. Linemen, on there. Halfback, we don't really need to go after. We're second on this free safeties board. Might as well put him there too. But we just want to keep doing this until we fill up our board. And there are more efficient ways to do this. Like if you look in that bottom right corner, you can see whether or not a school is going after some of these guys. But at least for now, I'm just going to leave our board at what I have. I'm going to offer these guys scholarships with our 35 hours that are still on there. And then after that, we'll revisit. Because you should probably be going after other 4 stars too. I could even go for a 5-star. It's just not really worth my time at the moment. I want to be smart about how we handle this. I want to make sure it's a decent sized class for this video. So even though it would be fun to go out and sign 1 5-star, might be more worth it to get 3 or 4 4-stars in place of that. Let's go ahead, see if we get commits. They're starting to come on in. All right. If you've made it to week 7 with 0 commits, never again after this video. Because we've already landed 2, 3 of them. We needed wide receivers, 4 of them. There's another 3-star, 5 of them, another wide receiver. And then the 4 stars should be coming in the coming weeks. Except there we have it. One of them just went somewhere else. I think that's one of the players we just added to our board, though. If that is a player that we've been going after the entire time, I'm going to be very sick. It shouldn't be. So these top 5 and then these 3 are the ones we've been going after. As you can see, our influence points still looking good. Still looking like we're going to sign him. But Colby Spears, we're not going to have a chance at getting. Unfortunate, but it's all good. We have 250 hours available now. We're just going to make sure that our pitches are still lining up well. That looks good. Team player going over well there. And then for Alex Johnson, we've been on Send the House, but we finally unlocked all 3 of his interests, so we can hard sell him. And once we've hard sold him on our school, we just wait for him to commit. We're in a good spot. I do want to put 50 hours instead of 40 on all of them just because they are the 4 stars. They are priority. And looking through overview, this is where you have to be careful. Miami and USCF have offered Deion Cedar scholarships, and they're pursuing that top 8. I don't want to deal with competing with those schools. I'm not competing with Miami. This 4-star from Florida, though, no schools are going after. Send the house. That is your method. That is the method at the moment that I've been using. I also need these wide receivers and linebackers, so I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to look, instead of going after some of these 3 stars, just around the rest of the league, or I guess nation. Because there's probably other 4 stars that if you sort by open, we can put on our board, like this athlete right here. His deal breaker is playing style. That's not a great deal breaker. He's an elusive back. We don't need another halfback, but we do need a defensive tackle. He wants playing time. We have that. Perfect fit. Our next perfect fit might be this wide receiver, but it's proximity to home. I don't like that much, but we could still go after him unless we find somebody else that's better for us. Another defensive tackle. We'll go after that. We needed a lot of DTs. So right now, I'm going to put our final 100 points of the week on Send the House, and we'll offer scholarships the week after, just because we don't have enough hours. 400 is not much. And you could also go down the recruiting skill trees. I'm just not for the point of this video. I want to help you all the most I can. There we have it. Our first 5-star commit, or first 4-star commit. Already saying stuff, complete nonsense. First 4-star, told you all we would get those. And then we have others that are going to be coming shortly. If other schools hop into the battle, it is what it is. You cut your ties. If you see Miami's pursuing them late, get rid of them. But that's the biggest step we can take, because right now, as USF, we're not going to be in the top 25 classes ever, most likely. But if we can get this one to finish up here and keep moving into that top 40, top 30, that's all you need. Once the 5 stars, or not 5 stars, 4 stars start adding up, you'll see that jump. Like James Madison's beating us out right now because they have 14 signees, but they're 2 and 1 stars. Those are like 55 overalls. Do you think I'm jealous of that? No. Right now, we have a much better class. So don't worry about the rankings too much. We're still pursuing these 2 guys very well. You just keep an eye on that. We've gained on this 4-star. Good to know. Gaining on him. And then these 2, we're also gaining on. We have 50 hours available, which means we could go after another 4-star. I don't even see us on this guy's board yet. A little concerning. Let me make sure our scholarships are offered. But after that, we might even put somebody else on a visit if we can. I don't know if anybody's ready. No, we have no one ready. So there's 40 points to spend. It costs 40 to put someone on a visit. We'll just put it on somebody else we might want. West Virginia's going after him. Get us off our board. This is pretty much, it's not even cheese. It's like you're going after the guys that other schools don't want at the moment. But later in the year, schools are going to decide, oh, we haven't filled our cornerback need. I'm going after Doug. So if we wouldn't pursue him at this time, in a few weeks, Florida State, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, they're all going to be on his radar. And that's why we need to get a big lead now. We've gotten very fortunate that nobody's tried to catch up with us on these guys. And at this point, it's too far gone. I'm not worried we're going to lose them. But, man, we have pulled away there. That has been nice to see. This guy's from Florida. This guy's ranked a little bit higher and a little bit bigger, too, for alignment. So we're going to choose him as the last player we pursue. Let me just go ahead. We're going to send him a DM, contact his friends and family, and we are on to the next week. My recording's about at 40 minutes, I think, right now. So this has not been a long recruiting season so far. It just takes me, once I start playing games, a bit to get through them. Alex Johnson committed. Perfect. Oh, the other guy has not committed yet. That always makes me nervous. I've also not experienced any of my players decommitting before. But it's because I recruit off of player needs, and like I'm not going to go after somebody that we might lose that going forward. Okay. So like that deal breaker, proximity to home, we could go to another player. Never mind, we can't. Okay. Here's how players decommit. Let's say Ryan Dweller's deal breaker is not proximity to home, it is playing time. And I sign another wide receiver that would start over him. That might drop our grade in that category. And if he signed on thinking that'd be there, and then he has that deal breaker hit, he'll decommit. I don't experience it because proximity to home's not changing unless he moves across the country. I don't think high schoolers are moving in this thing. It happens in real life. If EA had your recruit move it from Baker, Florida to Nebraska in the middle of the year, that'd be crazy, but they're going to stay in the same spot. So it's a pretty safe one. As for these 4 stars, still gaining. It's looking good right now. I mean, this is the key to recruiting, and it's not too overpowered. You're not going to get this crazy class, but you're going to get what's good for South Florida. I'm glad we finally got up there with JJ Madison. And 65 hours still. Man. What's important is we got to get to the top 5s. So as I lose my voice, I'll check these top 5s. I'm realizing how good it is that I have a bunch of cuts between like 5-minute periods in my videos, because if I just talked and talked, I could not do that. I've also been recording for like a week straight now, not getting sleep. But yeah, we're not even near the top 5 on any of these guys, so we're going to get to sim for a few weeks, and I could go after some more 4 stars too. This is where it could be considered a little bit more cheesy, because at least for these guys, it makes sense for us to go after players that want playing time or that are in our state. But now, we're going to be just going after anybody that is in this open stage that's a 4-star prospect. Doesn't matter where they're from. He likes playing style. You know what? We'll go after it. Why not? Proximity to home. We're not going to meet it well, but might as well give it a shot. Let's see. Agile, deal breaker, playing style. Put them on there. This is how I build out these classes with 4-star recruits. I've looked over that tight end before. We don't need him, but I'll put him on there anyway. And I probably should be going after more linebackers and wide receivers. You'll see that there's like a lot of players I can't go after as USF. I might have to look at more 3-stars than I'm hoping for. And there was one 4-star that I did skip over. I'm just going to get him because why not? I'd like to raise the value of this class. I think it was some athletes up here at the top. But it is difficult, even as a smaller school. You're not going to have all the options in the world to just get all these guys. So that is something to keep in mind. The ones we have the best chance at landing, maybe this guy from South Carolina. We have a pipeline there to 1, though. It's not a great pipeline. And then this guy, the tight end, we don't need. We need the wide receiver. I didn't mean to offer the scholarship. Might as well do this now. And you all can see, like, this is a process. You're going to have to keep finding players as you sign them. We're going to have more hours become available if we sign that last 4-star we originally went after. And there he is, Ryan Dwyer. We have 8 commits on USF. Vinny reached his top 8. He's going to be taken off, but that's okay. One of the downsides is when you're going after some of these guys, you're not going to get them all. I told you all, we didn't even have a chance to go after Vinny. LSU swooped in. That's the first example of a school swooping in. LSU decided, hey, we want him the same week we did, pushed him up to the next stage, locked us out. For these guys at least, we could still hop in a little bit late. I want a lineman. A lineman's important to me, so we're going to go after him. And then this tight end's just a high rank, so why not? We'll put points here too. If we're starting to reach the top 5 with other prospects, we are going to have to switch stuff up though. And let me go ahead. I shouldn't back out in advance yet. Just check. We're still winning here. We're in a top 5. We don't have all 3 interest unlocked though, so no reason for us to change anything up. No one's pursuing these guys. We'll keep on going forward. We're in week 11. I mean, we're getting through this. We're getting a class put together. And my main trick in the off season is crazy. You can pretty much sign whoever you want. It's something that probably needs a little bit of tuning, but I read the deep dives and kind of cracked the system there. Okay, we've jumped up to number 1 on that 3 stars board. I haven't wanted him at all. We want this 4-star maybe? No. We only have 10 hours to spend. Might as well put 50 on Dalvin. And man, there's not gonna be many changes week over week. We're trying to catch Louisville there. Okay, we're in the top 5 of all of these players. Now that we're in the top 5, once the 3 interests are available, you'll see it's the same process. Could be considered a little bit tedious, but, you know, they wanted to add some depth to the recruiting, so I get it. I think it's enjoyable for it to be different than what we had in 14. That was very, very dull. Scheduling visits isn't even that important at this point in the year, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I don't have an issue with how recruiting works in this game. For at least my purposes, it does take a little bit longer to get through for filming. But I'm starting to get those methods. I'm sharing the methods with you all. You're seeing the raw, uncut recruiting that goes on in the Bordeaux videos. My next rebuild, probably haven't put it out there, but it will be Kentucky most likely. Needed to get that one going. We're still gaining influence, but like the influence gains when you hard sell, like we're hard selling on this guy. And then we have send the house here. See the difference? It's like double. You need to unlock those 3 interests. There are definitely coach tiers that allow you to unlock stuff quicker. It's just I'm doing this with a 1-star coach because people were saying that recruiting was hard. I have to prove that it is more difficult than it was on 14. Like, don't get me wrong, much more difficult. But there are methods. And for all I know, someone at EA is going to watch this video and patch some stuff. I mean, they would not tell me a thing on how to recruit better. They wanted me to figure it out myself. I figured it out myself. And we have an issue. My method's broken. See this? I was waiting for this to happen. It was actually kind of concerning me it wasn't. I lose battles on 4 stars all the time. We have the lead, but Auburn has decided they want JJ Madison too. I don't like that. If I keep sending the house, they're going to catch us very quickly. If I don't schedule a visit, they're going to catch us quickly. So it's time for me to guess on this hard sell. I am going to guess. Of the interests that line up with those bottom 2, there is either Pro Potential, which isn't available, or there's this one where it's Campus Lifestyles, the 3rd. I hope you all see what I mean. We have 2 of the interest unlocked, and the only of these 20 pitches that have those 2 in them are these 2. Right there. Boom. We found the pitch for JJ Madison. We don't even have to find the other stuff unlocked. Hopefully we can beat Auburn out for him. These guys we could still have whenever we want. Ole Miss is going after Dalvin now, so he is off our board. I'm not competing with Ole Miss for a player. And you know what? I'm going to be competitive here and throw this visit on in week 13 because it could help us. Proximity to home, that's a good little pitch. I shouldn't have to explain why I'm choosing proximity to home as the pitch. For all the visits, I just choose their highest interest. That's what you should do. We have first on this tackles board. We need a tackle. We'll send him a DM. We have hours. We have hours available. But the recruiting in the regular season's almost over. I mean, we're week 13 after this one. So, not much time left. Top 3 for some of these guys. First, second. We're going to have to cut our losses on one of them. We're losing to Auburn. Doesn't matter what we do. We'll see what happens after this visit week, but I think we have lost to Auburn. Let me make sure. Yeah. It said second. Who are we second on? Oh, okay. That's way better. It was the 3-star. We're not losing to Auburn right now. We're actually, because we guessed the hard sell correctly, putting on more points than them. You see how I guessed that? And how all 3 of them are correct now? You just have to think a little bit. Use the brain that you have. Florida State's starting to come after Dom. Not good. Not good at all. Our motivations are not a good sell. Championship contender to D+, not a good sell. Just making sure that all those, yeah, we have the hard sell on all 5 of these guys. And then for these 2, we're still leading on. We might as well move him down here. We'll start going after a 4-star, or we could schedule a visit. We'll go after the last 4-star that's out there. I don't think that could hurt us. We'll worry about visits later. All right. Let's see what happens week 13 against Tulsa. If we get this win, we're signing that dude from Auburn. If we lose, it might affect us. Boom. That's how you land a commit. In the battle with Auburn, we guessed his pitch. We went all in. But that's how you have to get it done. We must have had a good visit week, though, for him to commit on the spot like that. Let me see what our team schedule looks like. USF's just middle of the pack. Yeah, we won. I guess that's all it took. Wow. All right. A couple weeks left before we get to the transfer portal and when things get really, really good, because I've already showed you all my best tricks for this period. The next period is when it's even way, way cheesier. We'll see. We'll see what the comments say. We'll see how you all break it down. There's also probably going to be people that are like, why are you giving all this away? Because you all have online Dynasty starting, and I'm not going to gatekeep it. There could be better methods than what I do as well. This is just a base to where you can kind of start to figure things out. All right. So we got Wade right here. We're still getting more interest on him. We're moving up there. But I did notice that Wisconsin's starting to go after Joshua Bender, and we have also been doing these pitches. We might lose this one, but we're too far deep in on that defensive tackle. We can't pull out now. Send the houses on all these guys, but we have all three of these interest unlocked, so we'll go ahead and take this off. And I just have to keep double checking that for all of these. You want to make sure you're getting your hard sells out as quick as you can. Okay. Sergio, 2. We need to offer a scholarship to him. We still have recruiting hours to spend as well. I'll get a scholarship there. And then let's go to ready for a visit. Recruiting board. Which one of these do we need to get on a visit soon? It won't let me schedule him for one. We don't have any schools available. That's what it is. We don't have any games available for visits to come to because we just had our last one. So I guess we're putting the rest of our points on this 3-star and just smiling about it. All right, it looks like we got more signings coming in. It was just that one for that week, but these guys are down to their top 3, top 5. So hopefully we're not losing anybody else. I'm a little bit nervous. I think we have 2 periods left of recruiting. 4-star, we're still gaining on. It's just slow, so we're going to have to pursue them in the off season as well to like officially make it happen. Wisconsin's gaining a lot. Wisconsin is gaining a lot. We're probably going to lose Joshua Bender. This is what I'm talking about. Those schools can come out of nowhere. We're not even into his top 3 yet. Yeah, we're going to lose that one. Quincy Vales, still gaining on. We're up top on that 4-star now. Nice to see that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting into the off-season recruiting now. So what I do before the off-season is I find all of the prospects that are still on open. You could do this for 4-stars, but none available that we can go after. 5-stars, they're all committed already. So we're down to 3-stars. We search by open. The ones that are ranked a little bit higher, like the 500s, I'm going to take. I don't care about the 700s. We need a punter, put them on there. Why not? Quarterback, throw them on there. And this is how I kind of fill up my board. I'm just going to look for things like possession. That could be a wide receiver. I'll take it. What else do we need? We needed a safety at one point. We have so many wide receivers by now. We're not going to need that. I think we still need some linebackers, though. So we're going to see who's available. A lot less talent that I was... that's not good. We needed players that were ranked in like the 500s for linebackers, and now they're up there in the 850s. Oh, well. We'll still take it. We have added so many more targets to our board. I'm just going to go through now, offer them all a scholarship with these extra hours, and then we're ready to... I think this is the last period. We either got one more week or it's this. But you'll see why I'm adding all these players that are on open to our board right now. We're going to need this badly. Go ahead. Pull them in. Please tell me we have enough scholarships. I don't think we do. Oh, well. I think we've done what we needed. And let's just sim to Is it Army Navy week after week 15? About to find out. Oh, there's the lock. They reached their top 8 without us. That's why we put them on. I knew the lock was coming. We probably should have done it a week sooner. So maybe week 14, put the players on your board that you want in the offseason. There's another chance for you to do it, but you can get more players available to you if you do it then. No recruiting periods. There's a 4-star signing. There's a 3-star. We'll take it. But we did lose that defensive tackle to Wisconsin. I knew that was coming. Can we see anything else with recruiting yet? No, we're on the Heisman winner, Texas Tech. Not what you expect to see. Let's sim to the national championship. I might check it out just for the video's sake. See what EA has cooked up for who they think the champion would be. But if Texas Tech's quarterbacks win the Heisman, probably not too accurate. It's not like Patrick Mahomes has a little brother or something that's going off right now. Come on. Is this the recruiting? No, we have one more week before recruiting. Let's just go down to bracket. It was Georgia. Okay. Very realistic, actually. UCF. All right. They're not doing all that. Come on. Come on now. I'm representing USF right now. But let's just see if we have people transferring out. I'm not going to worry about convincing them to stay. There's a lot of players transferring, actually. They didn't like our playing style. Wow. I've never seen a program get hit like this before. This has nothing to do with me. I've been simming through all of it. I guess for the purpose of the video, though, I should probably sit here and just persuade as many to come back as I can. I wish there was options on this to where you could give them reasons. Oh, and we only had 4 persuasions, so all of them are just gone. Okay. I've used schools that have had like 13 persuasions before. It all depends on your coach level. Now we can get into the off-season transfer portal period, though. Because all of them are gone. There it is. Let's go over here and see what we have. So going into this period right now, at least, we are the 43rd best class. We have 5 4-stars at USF, and then we also have 7 3-stars. We're pretty much on pace to have a class like Florida. When it comes to who has the most 4-stars right now, with USF, I wish there was this ranking was reorganized. We're like top 25, 30. It's impressive. We should not have been able to pull this off right here. We had 400 recruiting hours. We have 600, a little bit more in this period. I knew we were going to lose that guy. If Wisconsin didn't come in, we would have had him, though. What I want to do for any player that we have already gained a lot of influence on, because schools are going to come out of nowhere, try to steal them, these guys are getting visits instantly. We already know all their interest, so they're getting scheduled for a visit right now. Proximity to homes is highest grade. Boom. We're also going to put on the hard sell. Let's go ahead, put that there. And we're going to DM him. We're putting as many hours as we can on these players. Let me schedule visits. Like, this is the part where once you do it 500 times, you're like, all right, I already know what I'm doing here. Do I have to click through these menus again? But I'm sure the depth is appreciated for the players that have like 1 or 2 dynasties. And I just like having all these options instead of it being so dull. So it's not the end of the world. Okay. Still can only send the house on these 2. We'll be able to schedule them for visits once they reach their top 5. And then these lockouts. Man, a lot of lockouts. We had some that we were able to sneak onto their list, but I was a week too late there. It's okay. They're being pursued by other schools a little bit anyway. And this is a hard period. I haven't even looked at the transfers that want to come to USF yet. I still have 300 hours left. We're just going to see. Yeah, we have a good chance at least in this linebacker. We're going to put points on him immediately. We also know a pitch of his, but it's a D+. We're not scheduling him for a visit on that. And this is where you're just going to pick up a lot of 3-stars. We had the bulk majority of the 4-stars sign already. And then we're also going to still look for other players too. So I might end up taking these send the houses off. Just in case there's other talented people available, like in the transfer portal, but most of the time, like, I don't care to get these guys. You're going to have a lot of locks at a small school. So the only players that really are interested in coming here are like these 3 stars. And we'll put all of them on our board. We'll see why later, but it's not great. It's really not great. What about stage? Stage-wise, yeah, there's not anyone else I can add. We should have added more. Man. I've done this with like bigger schools too, or like once we've had more success. So having this many players with deal breakers, who's on our board right now is all that we can go after. So theoretically, you could have an even better class than this. We only have so many points though, so it's not like I can spend points on all these players. It's just I'm going to offer them scholarships with these hours available. And then you all will see in the coming weeks what I do, because if you don't have to fill up this entire bar for a player to sign to your school. You just have to be in first place on them when the 4th period of the transfer window ends. So as long as I can make sure we're in 4th place, did I not spend all my hours? Oh, I still have 40 left. Okay, who do we want? We needed linemen. We're going to go after the center. But as long as you can be in first place, they will go to your school. So you don't have to worry about completely signing them. I think that's a nice addition. It's just, you can break it a little bit. You can break it. All right. Come on. Bring in all the players we've been going after. There's the 1 4-star. All right. I don't see any other commits to other schools too. Good sign. Good sign. It's very scary because Georgia could come into the battle on any of them, take them right away from us. We're currently at 13 prospects though. We have up to 27 we could still get. You're seeing that we're starting to gain into like first place on some of these guys, even though I'm not going after them heavy. It's important to keep in mind we have 160 hours available. This will be a signing soon. Now we have to start putting the send the houses off. I don't even know what this guy likes. This hard sell could really backfire for us, but we know he likes proximity to home. It could be this lineup right here. And just looking at some of these other ones, there's red. So I know, oh no, it's not this one, not this one. I know for a fact though, that his hard sell is going to be this because it's the only one that had all 3 with a question mark or a check. Kind of risky doing it that way. I'm not going to go for the hard sell even. I am going to go for the visit though, just because we're in a tight battle. And I need to save some of these points for the other prospects. That's why I'm on 40. Come on, UCF. You know what? I want the 4-star. We're going 50. That's not UCF, that's Army. For them, we have all 3 interest. We're fine. We can go ahead, hard sell here. We just have to finish in first place. That's all we have to do. So hoping hard sell can do that. For this kid, Florida State's going after him. Get him off our board. I don't want to compete. I don't want to compete for any of these guys. I'm seeing a lot of leads there. Good, 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 good. As for those 2, we also have leads. Let's go ahead, start putting on the send the house. We don't need that many halfbacks. But Miami's not going after him. We're going to take this that transfer junior off and go after the freshman. We don't really need corners either. We don't need these 2 stars. They're kind of just there. I told you all don't go after them. I wanted to boost the recruiting class ranking, but now we're just going to spend our points a little bit wiser. I have 80 hours. We're going to put 2 people on visits. This is the stuff, like, I'm talking y'all through my process, but, like, I'm still figuring it out as well, because, shoo. This is a lot to take in at once. We're going to go playing style here. Visit, 3-star by week 2. And none of these selling points are good. Pro potential's our best one at a C+. Not a fan of it. Oh well. We should not lose any of those battles. That's what I'm thinking. Just looking at how everything's playing out. I'm going to be shocked if someone jumps us somewhere, but we're not signing either. Little concerning. Little concerning. Week 3 of 4. We only have 2 weeks left in this entire thing. So we have to put together stuff quick. Louisville could always jump this, just seeing how that's going. And starting from here, we're at the send house, but we're also barely cracking top 5. So it's like, as long as we have a lead, we're going to get all these guys. Kennesaw State going after the 2-star. You can have that guy. I didn't want him anyway. We could still get him. This player, we've unlocked all 3 interest. It's just like, do I care that much to get a 3-star? Not really. But we're going to remove everything. Hard sell him. Go ahead. Come on into USF. And I'm getting a little excited because I think this might be the best class I've ever put together in a video. And I've just done it by turning on the camera real quick. How many hours do we have left? We have 100 hours. I could put 20 here and then do 2 visits. Oh, you can only do 15. Okay. Everyone's on scholarship. Let's see our 2 visits. Who do we need to bring in? I always like to see the ones that we're taking big leads on. Let's bring in this guy. He's ranked a bit lower. Oh, we can't schedule. Okay. Odd. Wait, does that mean Miami's going on a visit? No, we just can't schedule. Okay. We'll schedule him. Playing time. That's the pitch. And then which one of these 2? They're both not ranked very highly. But I know we've gotten defensive tackles and we need linebackers. Oh, we don't even know what his favorites are. Okay. Schedule it is. We'll go for proximity to home. And now we're ready to advance the week for one final time. With 24 targets, I am hoping that we sign 23 players. We're probably going to miss out on one. You're never going to expect to get everybody, but if we could get like 22, 23, be a pretty good class. Deal breaker on him. We don't have playing time available, and that's where deal breakers can come in and ruin everything. Oh no. In this final week of recruiting, we just hit a deal breaker on one of these players. And no longer Martin Hurst is going to consider us because of the amount of corners that we've signed. He might walk on still. We'll check. He might be dumb enough to walk on. Ooh. TCU is starting to pursue this on send home. We're going to have to schedule him for a visit this week so TCU doesn't catch us. Let's go ahead. Athletic facilities, I guess. Hard sell. What's going to have those 2 in it? Conference prestige. We also have, nope, proximity to home can't be a thing. So he prefers conference prestige. Okay. That will be a good hard sell. We have pretty much locked in this guy. He's not going to TCU. We just need to be in first place at the end of this week on all these guys, and we will have them signed. We don't have to get them fully committed. Oh, no. Army is really starting to pursue him, and I can't do anything else. That one's going to come down to the wire. Didn't mean to switch that there. Okay. Syracuse is also out of nowhere on this 4-star. And I can't add any pitches in. Oh, we might lose both of these players. That's not ideal. I still have 45 hours to spend, so I could put somebody on a visit, but I think we have everything that we need. I do see that Liberty's coming out of nowhere on this guy, so nice try, buddy. You're not getting him. We have a lead there, and then we can't get him at all. That's our class. I'm not touching anything else. We might only get 21. Let's go through the committeds. 4-star, 3-star. We're down to 3 stars already. I don't think they'll jump back up. So we only got 1. I think we had 2 4-stars left, and we only got 1 of them. These are all the official commits. Now we get to see who walked on to schools. Because any player that didn't officially go somewhere also walked on National Signing Day. I skipped over the early signing day, too. I didn't care. 24 targets. Let's see. Yes, we got this guy over TCU, the other 4-star. Everyone else on our board, masterclass. Even this player that had the deal breaker because we were in the lead came to our school. That's why it's so important. Like you can see his yellow bar is not fully filled up. We were in the lead. He comes here. That means with USF year 1, 19th class in the country. Come on. I told you, I'm not going to say I'm the best at recruiting because there are going to be people way better than me. But I got it under wraps. I've probably spent more time in this than 99.9% of the population over the last week. So since there's only a select few people that have had access to it. And that's it. You can get up to maybe a top 25 class with a small school. I want to show you all some of the overalls of these guys too that are 4 stars. But that was with 400 hours a week, level 1 head coach, top 20 class. We'll take that all day. Man, I'm so glad that one came out well too, because every so often you're going to have some stinkers. There were some battles there I could have lost that would have definitely affected that. That was probably best case scenario, and that's my recruiting tutorial on how to recruit on College Football 25, but also make sure to leave any other suggestions you all have in the comments that could help people out even more.